Hey there, Powell River. Hi, Park Bench. This is Austin McKinnon sitting down with the fabulous Tracy of the Powell River Visitor Information Center. Hi, Tracy.
Hi.
So great to meet you today and learn a little about your story.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be
Absolutely.
part of it.
Yeah. So my first question to everybody is always, how come you chose Powell River?
Well, I was born and raised in Powell River. I grew up for a few years out at Stillwater and then the Townsite, and now I reside in Cranberry.
Lovely.
And like many Powell River people, I did my time outside of the community. So I was a journalist in Vancouver, where I was the editor of Dreamhouse Magazine, BC Outdoors Magazine. And of course, growing up here in the Powell River area with lots of hunting and fishing and outdoorsy kind of person, it was a very good fit for me.
No doubt.
Being at BC Outdoors. So, but then I came back in 2009.
Okay.
And I live in Cranberry quite happily with my 3 boys.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. It's nice to experience both and appreciate it all the more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the Powell River just has a lot to offer for families and people who want to get a leg up in the world. You know, they want to get a home. They want to have a job that has a work balance. And Powell River has that to offer. So
absolutely. So coming from all those magazines, how did you get involved with the Visitor Center?
Well, the manager position here at the Visitor Center came up about 10 years ago. And I thought, well, that would be something I could do. I was looking for a change from journalism, but at the same time, still wanting to be involved with publishing. And of course, at the Visitor Center here, we publish brochures, we publish little magazines, that sort of thing. And it was nice for me to be able to use those skills to help the small businesses, the small community businesses that are based in tourism, get their word out, right? To be able to help them make a rack card. To do mapping. The recreation map is a perfect example of one of the things that we put together here. And it is really the definitive backroads map for the area.
Yes.
Yeah, in the Fore Country and the recreation map. And
I hear a lot of people talk about that.
It's very valuable as far as an information piece for the region. So,
absolutely.
And so that's where my experience came into play. I had done all the freshwater fishing directories and saltwater fishing directories, and they're full of maps. And as much as I hate doing maps, I can get them done.
That's good. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, 20 minutes at a time before my temper kicks off. But we do get it done. And we update it every 2 to 3 years once we sell through our print runs. So.
Very nice. Yeah. Good. Yeah. So very current.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Keep it very current.
Very good. So in terms of people visiting, are there any surprises that you get about questions that come out of the blue?
Well, I mean, on any given day, you can get any manner of questions. But mostly it's about us preparing them for what they want to experience when they're here. So they may come and they want to go sea kayaking, but they've never been sea kayaking, right? So, or they want to go hiking on the Sunshine Coast Trail, but they showed up in flip-flops with no hiking boots. Those kinds of things, you know, where we're kind of preparing them to explore the area safely, to know what they're doing, how to connect them up with the right people who can teach them what they need to know. Or just sometimes giving them a bit of a reality check. They'll come to hike the Sunshine Coast Trail and think they're going to do the whole trail in 3 days. And I say, well, are you going to run it? Because that's the only way, you know, night and day.
There's ATV in your backpack.
Exactly, yeah. So just giving them more realistic expectations and then giving them other options or ways to make their experience here amazing so that they do come back. And eventually a lot of them decide they want to live here. And so then we're engaged in those conversations as to what the community's like, where they might fit in that community, what the job scene is like. So we're often a first person that they'll make contact with in regards to living in the community.
So in terms of seeing more visitors versus people looking to move or seeing people come back, do you get a lot of that as well?
It's seasonal, right? So we do see a lot of people looking to move here in October, November, January, February, March. Kind of that's when the queries come up. But often people who are here having a visitor experience fall in love with the community and then want more information. And they come to us, you know, and I just say, I'm the town know-it-all. What do you want to know?
I love it.
But also new residents, people who have just moved here. They'll come in. We moved here yesterday. And I need to know this, that, the next thing. I don't know where to get this or that, or where's the recycling depot. We're also that information for them as well.
Yeah, it's hard to be focused on both the moving process and everything else that encompasses living in a community.
Exactly. Yeah. And we also serve the locals who may have medical appointments out of town. They haven't left town for a while. They don't know what hotel is near where the hospital is, or even where the hospital is. So we often will help them with the logistics around travel, right?
That's awesome. I wouldn't have thought of that, to come here for that. That's great.
Yes. So that's also a service we supply, or they want to go explore northern BC and they've never been there. We have the knowledge and the materials here, the maps, the magazines, and all of the information to help them plan that trip as well.
Wow.
So it's multifaceted. I'm sure a lot of people wonder what we do here. It's not just puzzles, but it's a very dynamic job, and that's what keeps me engaged and interested in staying.
Never 2 days the same.
No,
no,
and I need that kind of versatility.
I can relate. Yeah, I love that. It's so nice, and you get to see so much more of the world and see how other people see it too, which is always.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of the time, what the visitors will come in. Do you know how lucky you are to live here? And we do know. Yes. We are very aware of how lucky we are to live here. This is a very special place.
It is.
And I like to call it the Riviera of Canada because we don't have those extreme winter cold.
I know.
And yes, it rains a lot, but when you're tired of that, we just go over to Comox and catch a plane to Hawaii or Mexico.
Exactly.
And all is well with the world again.
Yes.
So, it's often said to us by the visitors, do you know how lucky you are to live here? This place is heaven.
It's very true. Yeah. Paradise is a word I hear a lot. Yeah. Yeah. My family, my in-laws used to call it the Powell Riviera, and I never really knew until I was here for a long enough time to experience that.
Yeah, we are quite spoiled and probably take a lot for granted about where we live.
Yeah. Absolutely. Were there any changes that you would like to see?
Well, I mean, along with everywhere else, we do want to see the housing situation improve here, both in that people can find a place to rent, but also that they can find a place to buy that they can afford, right? So that's kind of important on a happiness for the community kind of scale. I would love to see some of the paved bike paths that are off-road that run through the community and connecting all the neighborhoods. I mean, that's a dream wish of mine that I'd like to see. And the city is making some progress and getting some grants and some of that, but I would like to see those paths even be paved rather than just gravel for accessibility reasons. So that people with wheelchairs and walkers and that sort of thing can also use those.
Well, and kid safety and all of that.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that's kind of one thing I'd really like to see go forward with. And when you visit some other communities like Calgary or Lethbridge and other places in British Columbia, even, they have extensive bicycle paths and that sort of thing that are not connected to roadways that are amazing. And
I feel like larger cities make that a bigger priority because they know the traffic is so much more of an issue.
Right. And they don't have the green space that we do. So I do get that as well.
Yeah.
But I just think that to get the cars off the road, like all the staff here, we all have e-bikes, you know, and we love to ride those around. Usually there's one sitting in my office because we park it here. But that to be able to connect the community and the neighborhoods and we like e-bikes because of the hills.
Yes, absolutely.
I do get visitors, and here's one of the funny things. I'll get visitors that come in and go, we want to get to land, but we don't want any more hills. And I'm like, oh, you have a hill coming.
Yes,
the Wildwood Hill.
Big one,
so that's sort of one of the funny things that people will say, you know, I want to do more biking around the community, but can you show me how to get there without hills? And actually, sometimes I can. Sometimes I can show them. You're going to have to go a long way, but I can get you there without the hills.
My family's from the prairie, so they always have a few days of adjustment when they come over.
That's right.
Yep. Well, my final question today is, what is your favorite recommendation to make for people?
Well, I mean, I send a lot of people to Inland Lake, and while we know we have improvements that need to happen in that park, it is a safe, accessible, generally, place with great swimming and camping available. So, I mean, that's a big attraction. But it really comes down to what experience are they looking for? Because we don't have misconceptions about what people want. We work with them and understand what it is they're looking for. Like historic tourism is on the rise in Canada, and we see a lot of people asking to go walk around the historic Townsite. Can I go into Dr. Henderson's house? What about the theater? I'd love to see inside, you know, so that we can say, oh yes, it's open during the day. You know, this, that, maybe you'll see a ghost. So we work to what they want, right?
That's awesome.
What is it they're seeking? Some of them want to be down front in the community, and others are like, I just want to go sit on a mountain somewhere and I don't want to talk to anybody for 2 days.
You
right?
can do all of that.
we can make that happen for them. So, and then according to their abilities too, we have a lot of seniors, especially in the fall, that will come through. Right.
Yeah.
And we don't send them up Valentine Mountain. That's not conceivable. Just because we love it doesn't mean they're able to do it. So, but maybe the Sea Walk or maybe the Willingdon Beach Trail is going to work for them. They, send them to the museum and that sort of thing. So
there's definitely no shortage of options.
Yeah. And sometimes it's concierge service. Some people are not planners and they'll come in. They need a place to stay. They need to know what they're going to do tomorrow, the next day, the day after that.
Wow.
We will figure that all out. We will get it all booked. We will book the reservations at the restaurant for them, write all their itinerary down, even right down to the ferry schedules, so that they can really maximize their time while they're here.
Wow.
And their experiences.
That is so much more comprehensive than I would have thought, even from the times that I've gone to visitor centers. I've never seen that level of detail. So that's really incredible.
We just call that our wow service. I too have been at visitor centers where you basically get a map and and you don't know what
answer
to do
yes or no
that,
questions.
Right? So we will spend as much time as our visitors are willing to give us in making sure. And sometimes it's down to, well, we were only going to be here for a day, but we're going to book a hotel room now and we're going to stay 2 days because this place has a lot to offer.
Yes.
Right. So
that's pretty cool. That must be rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. For sure it is.
Wonderful. Awesome.
Yeah. And then some days are crazy busy and other days are not as busy. So we can.
It's a nice balance.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's been very enlightening. Thank you. Wow. I'm probably going to hang around and ask you
This is what I do. I talk all day and visit with people. And,
that's great.
And offer them the very best of what Powell River has to offer in the regional district. And Texada, of course. You got to go to the Texada Museum. That always. Yeah. We did a special staff trip over just to see the museum.
Oh, good.
And they opened it just for us. And checked out the gold mine. And then we went to Bob's Lake, if you haven't been there on Texada.
Yeah.
Middle of August. We go over for a staff picnic and everything. Go to Shingle Beach. I'm like, oh, the water's too cold here and I want to swim. So we go to Bob's Lake. It's middle of August, full campground, Forest Service site. There's nobody there. Nobody there. We had the whole place to ourselves in the middle of August. Man. We swam all day for hours and had a big picnic. And
that is
so
paradise.
We enjoy this facilities and all the amenities that we have here as much as the visitors do.
Yeah.
So we're very experienced when we recommend something.
It's a job requirement.
We've done it.
Gotta go have fun in your backyard.
We do it all. We do it all.
Oh, good for you. That sounds very enjoyable. Well, I might just quit real estate and come find you. That sounds pretty awesome.
With us.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Tracy. It's been incredible getting to know a little more about what you do.
Well, thanks for coming today.
Well, thank you.